Alright guys, Fulu coming to you with another video. I hope all is well with y'all. I hope y'all are living y'all best lives. Now, I'm gonna cut straight to the point. You know, if you've been rocking with me, you know that my family background derives in 3 places in West Africa. One of them is Cape Verde. The other one is Guinea-Bissau. The other one is Senegal. If you know Fulas, they move around a lot. So be it that it may, political situations and economical situations set it up. So what's going on in Senegal right now is just proof that Westminster democracy was not designed to work in Africa. Okay? You have, according to Westminster democratic values, sovereignty is one of them, freedom of speech, freedom of governance, and just freedom of way to live, is one of the things that, Westminster democracy is supposed to stand for. However, the complete opposite happens in Africa. 9 out of 10 times in Africa, what you have is these puppet leaders, and these puppet leaders will promise things. They'll make promises like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to, bring the country forward. And all they do is just enrich themselves. Pretty much every African head of state gets into the head of state to enrich themselves. They're not trying to help the masses out. Are you kidding me? The ones that help the masses out are the ones who usually get killed. And that's unfortunately how it goes. Patrice Lumumba, who was left-leaning, needed assistance from the Soviets and was basically telling the Belgians, fuck off. And to a lesser extent, telling the United States to fuck off too. But unfortunately, we saw how that went. Thomas Sankara, same thing. Fuck off. Telling the French to fuck off. Telling, all the other people who are vested in their country not being, sovereign to fuck off. And we see what happened with that. Fast forward right now, we see what's going on in Eritrea. The United States, along with the help of Europe, are setting up a proxy war because they can't stand to recognize Eritrean sovereignty because they don't want the ideas to spread. That's the bottom line. That's the issue. They don't want the Eritrean project to spread, because if it does spread, then Africa is going to be in a good place, probably, more or less so. So these are the issues we're facing. Now, as far as Senegal is concerned, this is nothing new, Okay, so it's not new with Senegal. During the Cold War, you had some Senegalese intellectuals who were looking towards a African socialist bloc, so to say. You have Mohamedou Dia, who was put in jail, I believe, for his ideas. And you have Cheikh Anta Diop. We know Cheikh Anta Diop for his history and his, in his work on what is the science called? I forgot what the science is called, but the studies of humans and stuff like that, And you know, we know his Egyptology studies as well, you know. But he was still involved heavily. He was heavily into politics too. I mean, if anything, he wanted to lay out a blueprint for Black Africa to follow. As a matter of fact, I recommend that book, Black Africa. You know, he wrote a book about it. You know, about how, you know, the resources of Africa can be harvested to benefit us, you know. But many people put that down, you know. And the people who put it down were the petty bourgeois, who don't mind living under a neo form of colonialism as long as they keep their bank account fat. Unfortunately, Macky Sall fits into this category as well. You know, and I don't give a crap if me and Macky Sall are from the same tribe. He's Hal Poulard, I'm Hal Poulard. At the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And ever since his tenure, he has not done anything to really make Senegal progress. If anything, he's let these Western conglomerates come in even more and just take things. You know, recently Senegal discovered that there's oil there, right? And so, you know, he just let these I think it was a French country, go in there and just take what it wanted to take. And it's still going on to this day. Meanwhile, the average Senegalese is you know, scraping by to make a living. And this is the case in all of Africa all the time. That's the case. And you know what's sad about the whole situation? This is the saddest thing. Myself included in this. We have to go abroad in order to carve out a living. And sometimes, like in carving out that living, you know, we're subject to ridicule and stuff like that. And subject to the constant racism and the constant stereotypes that we have to face in these countries we go to. Okay? When you go to Italy, when you go to France, when you go to Spain, when you go to Portugal, when you go to these places, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see Senegalese street peddlers carving out a living because the euro, or whatever the case may be, is going to take them a lot farther than what they would at their house. And they're the breadwinner. A lot of that money, do you know that most of the money in Africa, most of the money that goes into Africa, most of it comes from the outside. It's not even made inside the country. It's made from us that are doing what we have to do abroad in order to send it back. That's the sad thing about the whole situation. So now, you know, you have a new player by the name of Ousmane Sonko. And Ousmane Sonko basically is saying what leaders before him were saying, what Thomas Sankara was saying, what you know, Amilcar Cabral was saying, what Samora Machel was saying. Basically, fuck the Europeans. This is our country. We need to do what we need to do. You know? That's what he's saying. So now, you have him being accused of basically fondling a woman, and he's been detained. They haven't spoken with him and things like that. And the people want him out. The people want him out, okay? The masses want him out. The masses have nothing to lose, but they have everything to gain. That is why they want him out, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something about him, okay? All the other leaders have not said F the French, okay? They have just made promises. In other words, those promises have been empty, but this guy is directly, he's not saying it verbatim, but he's saying F the French, okay? That's it, in his actions and his gestures, he's saying F the French. And so, you know, France is alarmed at this. And, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. I wouldn't be surprised if France set that whole thing up. It would not surprise me one bit if France set this whole scenario up for him to be detained. Okay, but because let's face it, Macky Sall, you know, I'll give you an example. You know, there was a sword in the French Museum from our warrior Marabout, El Hajj Omar Tall, Rahmatullah alayh. You know, the French, they let Senegal borrow the sword. Now, Macky Sall said nothing about this. If I was head of state, I would be like, nigga, we're taking this sword. We're not, you're not borrowing it. We're not borrowing it. You're just returning what you took. And we're keeping it, like it or not. That's what kind of stance you have to take with these people. That's the only way they're gonna get it. Okay? That's the only way they're gonna get that you're not to be messed with, or your sovereignty is not to be messed with. Okay? And you know, inshallah, they don't kill Ousmane Sonko in jail, you know, like, because, you know, I know the French are already having their eyebrows up looking at him as a threat, you know, to what they got going on. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to tell you some real stuff right now. Without Africa, the French and a lot of these other European places would not be where they are if Africa wasn't poor. If Africa was rich, prospering, and flourishing, they would not. Europe would be a freaking backwater. Okay? In order for Europe to function in the way it functions right now, Africa has to stay poor, unfortunately. Okay? That is why they get threatened when they see these people do what they do. Okay? You know, Thomas Sankara, he actually spoke and said, you know, we want to send Burkinabe to space. Okay? He was talking along those lines. Okay? He didn't just say, give us millet. He said, give us the tools to plant our own millet. Right? This is what they don't want, though. And with Senegal, you know, Senegal has been a peaceful democratic country for the most, or quote unquote democratic country. Let me not say democratic, but you guys know what I mean. You catch my drift. It's been peaceful for the most part. It hasn't really had any conflict, so to say. The only conflicts it really has is the Casamance separatists. You know, Casamance, like, kind of like similar how Nigeria has Biafra. You know, Biafra wants to break off. You know what I mean? Casamance is the same thing. They want to break off. You know what I mean? So that's kind of been the only conflict that's been going on over there, off and on, but not too much. You know, Not anything too serious. This has been a bigger conflict because people have lost their lives. You know, this conflict that is going on right now, we have martyrs. You know, and my uncles and my aunties are sending me video of everything that's going on. The only city that's not infected is Tuba. Tuba, you can't do that, you know. They're not going to let that happen in Tuba, you know. So that's what it is. You know, I don't know what's going to happen of this, you know. You know what happens with a lot of these African leaders? A lot of these African leaders try to make concessions for, a lot of these African leaders try to make concessions when the people are in rage. But those concessions don't do nothing. That's usually what they do all the time. I don't know why they do that, but it's like, man, you can make all the concessions you want, but it's still not going to really bring the change that the people are looking for. So those concessions don't mean crap, okay? And I'm letting you know. So now, it just remains to be seen what's going to happen. Now, I want to segue into another place too, Niger. You know, everybody knows that Niger is landlocked. It's full of resources, I'll say that. You know, Niger has a lot of resources. When I say a lot, Niger has plenty of resources. Okay? Now, with Niger, you know, you had a president elected. His name was Mohamed Bazoum. And a lot of people are saying that the previous president actually had a part in getting him elected and basically found a way to mess with the votes. Now, granted, I don't know how true this is, but those people have been in revolt as well. You know, because I really think, I mean, I don't know this guy, I don't know Bazoum, but I really think that that he's the same thing, a puppet of the French. Especially him, and this is no disrespect to Tuareg, but especially him being Tuareg, because the thing is, when you know, in Africa, our definition of black and white is kind of different, you know. Now, a Tuareg wouldn't be considered like white in America, white in Europe, or white in Asia or a place like that. But in Africa, a Tuareg would be considered a white, you know, for the most part. So with this Mohamed Bazoum, I believe he is Tuareg, if I'm not mistaken. So who do you think he's going to align himself with? Okay? Who do you think? So they're in revolt too. So, you know, I don't know what to say at this point. I mean, all I can do is just wait to see what happens and hope that the potential, what we had going on when the Soviet bloc was up, can be reunited, you know, or I should say reignited. You know, hopefully what we had going on during that time can be revived. Okay, because I'm gonna tell you, when the Soviet bloc was up, you had like a vigor and a fever of like African countries not only wanting independence but wanting it on their terms. Okay, that's the thing. Now, granted, you know, the thing is too, though, however, that we didn't want to adopt like Russian communism or Russian socialism. We wanted to adopt a modified version of such that will cater to us, you know, without, you know, how should I put it, without, you know, imploding on people's creativity, without imploding on things like that. You know what I mean? We wanted our own version of it, right? So this is why we took the stance we took for the most part. You know what I mean? We looked, researched, and did Marxist discourse and things like that. Now, granted, Thomas Sankara, he was labeled as a Marxist, but it wasn't like exactly Marxism that he was practicing. He was practicing things, the ideas of Marxism to, cater to the African reality. And it's the same thing with Amilcar Cabral and things of that nature, same exact story, right? So hopefully we can get a revival in this, with these situations we have going on in Africa, right now in Niger and also, Senegal. Now, I'm going to tell you something, too, that many people don't know about. There are people in Africa who have the ideas of self-sufficiency and who have the ideas of sovereignty in the same vein as North Korea. As a matter of fact, in Nigeria, you have in the north as well. In the north of Nigeria, you have like a small chapter of people who are about that idea of Juche. Now, I don't need to go into Juche, but I mean, if you want me to touch on Juche a little bit, Juche is just basically doing for self, and cultivating the resources to do for self, right? So you have people like I said, in Nigeria who are with these ideals. And I'm one of them that is with these ideals of do for self. Amilcar Cabral said something very profound in a book I read. He said, you're never satisfied if you get aid. And then you look at this Thomas Sankara quote that reaches far deeper. He who feeds you controls you. So this is why when these things are going on, when you have neocolonialism and this, that, and the other, they not only control your plate, they control your damn mind too. Because you're subservient to them. So, I'm going to just end this video and say, like, inshallah, with what's happening, that, this will awaken a new dawn in Africa, where we will take the ideas of Julius Nyerere, when we'll take the ideas of Thomas Sankara, when we'll take the ideas of Sheikh Anta Diop, when we'll take the ideas of Amilcar Cabral, when we'll take these ideas and we'll actually put them under our feet and run with them, and I'm not an orator or nothing like that, and I hate politics, but I just believe that Westminster democracy will never work for Africa at all. And Senegal is proof of this. And Niger is proof of it as well. And even all the other surrounding areas is proof of this, man. But anyhow, man, I'm going to go now. Fully signing out. Let me know what y'all think is going to be happening from this situation. Njarama.